Hi, Fran. Congratulations on the cup win at the weekend. You must be pleased with not only such a comprehensive scoreline, but also the way in which Giddles played.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, I am. I'm delighted. I think it was a very good game. Not always playing a lower division opposition means that you are going to play well. Sometimes it's quite the opposite. Players try to do too much. They stop playing simple football, and I thought we were very good. It was a great result, and it could be even higher. I thought their goalkeeper was outstanding, and I think despite they were two divisions below us, they were very well organized, especially obviously defensively. So yeah, very very pleased with the way we moved the ball, how many chances we created, the quality of the players, and the overall performance I think was superb. So yeah, very very proud of the game.
This week, we've seen the news of Clarissa departing for Sweden. Losing your top goal scorer at any stage of the season is clearly a big loss. But what can you tell us about any incomings that this transfer can facilitate?
Yeah, obviously we are experienced on that. So the first year, obviously Sarah Ewens left, our top goal scorer. Last year Charlie Wellings, now Clarissa, but the team is still performing very well. I think this year we are playing our best football. So although obviously it's less than ideal to lose a player with such a good impact in the middle of the season, but I think in this case it's been a win-win situation for her, for the club, for both clubs, and for her national team. So I know any player that is going to play in this position. In the weekend was Amy Gallagher and scored a hat-trick. Any player playing this position with the way the team play and the way the final pass is produced, any player is gonna score the same amount of goals than Clarissa scored. So obviously we wish her all the best. We really want to for her to make a massive impact in her club and in the World Cup if she goes. And now it's an opportunity for us to bring a striker to make the same impact. So when we signed Charlie Wallis, she scored 4 goals in the season before we brought her. Clarissa was exactly the same. Her record was 4 goals when we signed her. So I give a lot of credit of how they became goal scoring machines with us, while with us. And that's exactly the same what we are expecting. We are expecting a player maybe arriving tomorrow, hopefully, if not early next week. And hopefully with our environment, training environment, and then the teammates, amazing teammates that she's going to have, she's going to make the same impact or better, hopefully, than Clarissa made. So, yeah, I think it's a win-win situation, and I'm very, very excited to welcome not only one, but likely 2 players.
Exciting news about potential new players coming in, but talking about the players that are already here, obviously with the departure of Clarissa, how important is it that the goals are coming from all over the pitch? For example, like we saw at the weekend with Claire O'Riordan grabbing her first 2 Celtic goals.
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think that was something that maybe last year we lacked. We relied too much on Charlie, and that's probably why in the league we weren't, the football we play wasn't really, didn't get the points that I thought the style of football deserved. We lack consistency, and that's because we rely too much on one player. This year, as you say, the goals come from everywhere. At some point we have the 2 top goal scorers of the league. It was Clarissa and Jacinta, and then many other players. I think most of the team that play in forward positions has scored already, and then the centre backs as well. So yeah, the goals come from everywhere. We are very very strong in set plays, and I'm not worried about losing our top goal scorer and then we are gonna struggle to score goals. I believe the way the team is playing, the way the girls are interacting, they are rotating. I think goals are coming if we actually take each game at one game at the time and approaching every game like it's the last game. I think we will have a fantastic season. I really believe so.
It is, of course, back to league action at the weekend with Glasgow Women up next. They've obviously had a bit of a difficult start to the season. Is this perhaps a chance for you to utilise a bit of squad rotation, given that you've got 3 games over a 7-day period coming up?
Yeah, not necessarily because it's Glasgow Women, but during three, obviously we don't expect many players to play 90-90-90. We have to rotate, we have to keep them fresh. But the first game is like every other game. Playing for this team is very expensive. It's very, very difficult. So we are not giving spots to a player just because and we don't want to underestimate any opponent. So players are fighting, and the team that we are gonna play on Sunday is the team that deserves to play and that we think can play the better game and hopefully guarantee the 3 points that we really need and we really want. But yeah, over the 3 games, hopefully we will see most of our players play.
Yeah, goal difference could end up being important this season as it remains tight at the top, with Glasgow Women having conceded the most goals in the league this season. Do you see this as a game as an opportunity not only to get the 3 points that you've mentioned, but also to help consolidate the goal difference?
I really don't know. So I know, as you say, that they have a struggle in the first part of the season. It was a new category for them. Maybe it was strong, but now they are going to be more experienced. They have already been competing for a few months. I'm not sure if they have sign or strength their team. But for us, it's about ourselves. And as soon as we score, if we score a goal, as soon as we score, we will go for the next one. It's not different when we play Glasgow Women, we play any other team in the league. So yeah, definitely we are ambitious. We want to have big scores. We want to keep clean sheets, and that's no different for Sunday. If the league at the end is going to be decided by goal difference, no, I really doubt it, because it's so many after the split. Teams that are fighting for the league are going to play each other many times, or 2 times. So I think that's where the league is going to be decided. So I'm not very concerned about the goal difference at this moment in time. But for me, it's important chances created and just conversion. And this, we are very, very good this year, much better than we were last year. And that's the important bit for me. And hopefully on Sunday we see another game where we create a lot of chances and hopefully we convert most of them.
Thanks, Fran. Finally, for me, one on the transfer window. One thing that comes to light is the short contracts in women's football when compared to men's. Would you like to see us move away from that and try and secure players on longer term deals? And what are the barriers to that happening in women's football?
I think there is, obviously, because the type of salaries, and we are talking about most of the teams in women's football, obviously there are some, the top of the women game, they are doing transfer of over £500,000, etc., etc. They got totally different type of salaries, totally different type of contracts. But when you are paying players a very, very small contract, it's very difficult for a player to say, yeah, I'm going to sign for the next 3 years. So that's the difficulties we have in many women teams where we have very limited budget. So yeah, for us, we normally don't sign for a year. We don't want players to come just for a year, so minimum is 2 years. But it's very difficult to get a player at any level that sign for 3 years. That's I don't know other teams in the country, but in my experience in the women game, never sign a player for 3 years, apart from obviously long deals like Saint Menglu, for example. Saint Mengyu signed for 3 years because that was a loan deal that we did with Shanghai. And that was for her development, but otherwise it's difficult. So how we can fix that is obviously with much stronger finance, like some of the top clubs in Europe got. But I think we are a little bit far away at this moment in time from there.
We'll get there. Thanks, Fran. Look forward to the weekend. See you then.
Thank you very much.
She arrived at Celtic and she hadn't been capped at any level for Canada. And then she breaks into the national team, Olympic champions, plays against the likes of Australia and Brazil, who are playing England, so it's a sellout match at Wembley. That tells you something about the development of players at Celtic and the sales pitch that we can make to bring in top talent from around the world.
Yeah, 100%, and that makes us proud. For me, it made me very, very proud when Clarissa has the debut. For me, it was another achievement for all of us here. Another credit to the high performance environment that we have here at Celtic Football Club. So for me, that's fantastic. And we, as I say before, we are all supporting Clarissa. We want her to smash it at her new club, and we will be watching her in the World Cup, and we hope she does fantastic. So that's, for us, is very important. But as you say, we bring players, we development. Clarissa, before we signed her, the season before, scored only 4 goals. So was a player that needed this confidence, this development, and the same happened the year before with Charlie Wellings. She scored 4 goals, came with us, and 40 goals in one season. So we believe any player that now come for Clarissa, which I agree with you, she was fantastic for us, is gonna have the same type of numbers. I have no doubts, and that's credit to the rest of the girls, the way they play, the way they interact, the quality they got, the way they press, and then credit obviously to the setup that Celtic Football Club got in here.
She scored those 2 goals, with the goal against Hibs at Celtic Park, the goal against Rangers in the Cup. She was an outstanding player in both Cup finals for you. So it's going to be quite difficult to fill that gap in the team, is it not?
Obviously, don't get me wrong, we are going to miss Clarissa. There's no doubt about this. As a person and as a player. It's a player that make a very good impact. But I remember this summer, David, I heard so many comments. Probably a few players that were with us last year, they weren't this year. And it was some people, this year we lost so many players, we are going to miss them. Well, these players that are this year, they are playing the best football we ever play, in my opinion. As a coach, I see it in training and I see it in every game. So, Clarissa was an important player for us, no doubt about that. But don't forget that we are bringing 2 players to replace her. And I think the quality of the players that come increase the quality of the squad overall. So are we going to miss Clarissa? I honestly think we will, but the team is not going to suffer. The team you saw last weekend without her, and somebody playing exactly in her position and score a hat-trick. So I think we, in terms of goal scores and in terms of chances created, I think we won't miss her, but we would miss the person, of course.
The club received an undisclosed fee. That was the same for Charlie Wellings. Is that money going back into your squad? Because obviously our budget is still smaller than the Rangers budget.
Yeah, I mean, there is no secret that our budget is way smaller than Rangers' budget, but that money, it will be reinvested in the team, yeah. And it's considerably higher than the fee we got previously.
There's a London derby. Arsenal sold 40,000 tickets for the women's game. And they're obviously playing their games at home. And Celtic have lost their top player, top goal scorer, to a team whose crowds are roughly double what we're getting at Airdrie. And should Celtic be looking at ways of getting more people to the games to develop the game, because that's maybe the thing holding us back the most?
I think Celtic should do it. I think Rangers should do it. I think every single club in Scotland should do it. I think there is a lot of passion for the women game, but not as much as there is in other countries. So I think we all should do more to promote the women game. We all should do more. There's no doubt about that. With a badge that a club in Scotland, some of the top clubs in Scotland got with that badge, we should not be losing players to a team, with all the respect, like Hacken. But at the moment, financially, they are miles apart. So, I think with a little bit more work, hopefully in a few years' time, we don't see that happen in the Scottish League. But it's a general thing of the league. It's a weaker league. It's a much weaker league financially. In Sweden, every club is professional. Every club is, Here we still got a few clubs that are not professional, amateurs or part-time. So a little bit more. It's about exposure. It's about every stadium full, and then clubs start to grow. But it will take time. We are doing so much better. When I first came 3 years ago, where we are now is like 2 walls apart. But I think we can all do a little bit more.
Last week, Fran, you told us that 1, maybe 2 players could be leaving, and 2, maybe 3 were coming in. Can you tell us if someone else is looking at going out in this window, and anything about the players coming in?
So we were expecting to announce one of the players today, but one of the paperwork didn't arrive in time. So that's the only reason I cannot share it with you, but we were expecting. So hopefully tomorrow or by the end of the week, I think we will be able to share that name. A very good player for us. And then another one, hopefully next week. Again, all has been agreed. It's all about completing the paperwork. In terms of outs, the player I knew was Clarissa, and now everyone knows. And then potentially there is another player that might go or might not. Is at the moment it's 50-50, but I can tell you it's not Jacinta because I hear the rumor, so it's not her.
I was going to ask you that next. The midweek game has been rearranged for against Motherwell. Celtic are playing St Mirren on the same night, and obviously, could that kind of clash not be avoided by playing on the Tuesday or the Thursday?
Yeah, that's probably. So I wanted the game to be played on the 11th. So I wanted the game to be played yesterday, but Motherwell couldn't play it. So we just wanted as soon as possible to play the game as soon as possible. We were unaware at the time, or I wasn't aware. That's probably my fault that Celtic, the men's side, was playing at the same time. But now the game is arranged, and I don't think that can be moved. So that's on me. It's probably I would have rather play when the men are not playing, but I wasn't aware.
Last one from me, Fran. The under-18s lost a last-minute goal in the cup final. Very unlucky, but did very well in the whole campaign.
Yeah, I was at the game. I think, obviously, it was a great game, but I think the girls were fantastic. I think Celtic deserved the win. They have all the possession. They were great combining from the back. And, it was just obviously one mistake, and they were punished. But it's fantastic to see the girls playing that type of football, a very decent crowd, good game between both teams. And yeah, a shame that we lost the final, but very proud of the girls. So we were there, we were supporting so many players of our first team were there watching them and supporting them. And yeah, hopefully that's something that we will see very, very often, see our youth teams in cup finals. And of course, we will be there supporting them.
Kind of one more, Fran. Last week I mentioned the game against Rangers at the end of February, and afterwards I thought, wouldn't it be a great idea if we just opened that game up free to all season ticket holders and get 30,000-40,000 people in to support the team? That would definitely be worthwhile.
I mean, I would love that. If we get 40,000 people in a game, whatever, I would love that. It's not a question for me. I would love as many people as possible to come to us. For us, the fans mean everything. After every game, we just go there, talk to them. Is the most important thing of football is the fans. There is no secret about that. The more, the merrier. But this type of decisions obviously doesn't come from us. It comes from Haya, and we will. I know they want to support us as well. So hopefully that's a question for somebody higher than me that can make the decision. But for me, welcome. If 40,000 of you are coming, I would love that. It's a dream that.